really understand what we do and how different we are from the other banks. So that's why I put, why choose BDC? Because that's one of the questions I get a lot when I meet with businesses. Why would I go with BDC? I already have my bank and so forth. So BDC is a crown corporation, so it's owned by the government. So because of that, we have a different mission from the chartered banks. And our mission is really to help entrepreneurs in Canada. So it's for Canadian, it's for the benefit of Canadian businesses, and to help them grow and accelerate their success, and employ more people, and it helps the economy, and that's our role. Which doesn't mean that most of the companies now are global, or they want to grow globally. So that's also part of our mission, is to support Canadian businesses to grow outside of Canada, of course, also. Yes. Okay. Okay. So we have close to 2,000 employees, 28,000 clients all over Canada. We have about 100 business centers, so we're all across Canada, everywhere. And actually in Ottawa we have two. We have two, one in Canada and one here, just here on Metcalf. And there is one in Gatineau as well. And we have over 17 billion of assets under management. So, and I'll show you examples of what we do and how different we are, and how different we do business. But we're here to fill the gaps between what the banks do and I'll give you an example. When I was working, and as you saw, I worked in different banks before, and actually BDC has been the one where I stayed the longest. And one of the reasons was that when I was in the other bank, sometimes I would have clients coming to see me, and they would have a project, or they would need financing for their existing business, and I would tell them, that's too bad, because if I had the money personally, honestly, I would finance you, but the bank can't do it the way that you want to have it financed. So after saying that a few times, I said, okay, I have to find maybe another way, and that's why I joined BDC. And since then, it's great, because I rarely refuse to do a loan. Sometimes I help my clients, structure it differently, or wait a certain amount of time until they're at this point where we can do the loan. So that's why I've been there for 8 years, and I intend to stay there forever until I retire or until I die. I don't know, with the products there. I'd live for another 50 years, so I shouldn't say that.
Get down to age 22.
Yeah. No, I don't want to be younger than my children, though. That's not So one thing that BDC doesn't provide, so we don't provide, we do only long-term financing. So we don't do bank accounts, line of credit. You can't have those things. So you still, when you have a business, you still have to have your bank, and then you can also do business with BDC. And we deal also only with businesses. So we don't do any residential loans. It has to be, our focus is really on the businesses, helping them grow, and we want to work with you as partners. So we're there for the long term, not just to do a transaction and then bye-bye. So we want to continue to have contact with you, and if you have challenges and all that, we want to be there, to help. So why choose BDC? And I hope, Tunji, that you can say that everything I say is true. Okay.
Just going to remind everyone how you know.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm scared. So, so one of the thing, and I'll come, it's the way I deal with my clients, and that's the way everybody does at BDC, is that we look at your business and we want to be your partner. What it means is that, for example, you come and you say, well, I don't have an accountant, or I'm looking for an accountant, or I don't like my accountant. I can say, okay, well, I know a few, maybe I can give you a few names and help you with that. or, I will need to do a business plan. I have no clue how to go about it. And can you help me? So I can connect you with other people. Sometimes people are calling to see if we have grants. I said, well, no, we don't have grants at BDC, but I can connect you with someone who knows where to find grants. So that's the kind of partner we are. We try to be resourceful for your business. And sometimes also, the business is not steady always. We wish it would be always like this or even like this, but sometimes, it goes up and then we have challenges, and that's, that's normal for every business. So we try to help the businesses also who have difficult times. For example, during the recession, some of my clients had to face, difficult decisions, and we try to be there for them and help them. And I'll give you, an example of the things that we do. For example, we can postpone, when you pay the principal and you pay the interest. Well, sometimes we can postpone the principal for 6 months so that you have more money in your pocket to run your business, and you just pay the interest for 6 months. So that's the kind of things that we would do. So we are there come rain or shine. And you know what? Before, I used to say that, before the recession, I used to say that because, they told me that that's what it is at BDC, but I never experienced it really. Well, I did. And it was interesting to see, what businesses were going through with their banks, and we were there. And, sometimes it's, I had one client who was kicked out of his bank. It happens sometimes for various reasons. And we supported him. We helped him find another bank to get his line of credit back, and we supported him during that time. During the SARS, I don't know if many of you were already in Canada, so we helped a lot of our clients. We had a program to postpone, to offer postponement for 6 months for principal payments. So that's the type of things that we do. This one is interesting, actually. BDC clients do better. So don't you want to be a BDC client? Apparently, they did a study, and they found that the clients who were dealing with BDC had better success, better growth, more longevity, a little bit like, the products, but for businesses. I see the connection.
To age.
Yes. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you have questions, you can stop. Don't wait at the end. We can do it, during as a discussion during the presentation. So the way we do, for example, and the type of flexibility that we offer and that we are very, very proud of, because that's one of our difference from the other banks, is that we offer a lot of flexibility. For example, if you buy a commercial building, usually if you go to your bank, they're going to ask you to put, they'll finance 65, 70%. Sometimes if you have a great, great business, you're one of their best clients, they'll offer you 80%. Well, what I do, most of the real estate that I finance, I do 95%. Yeah. So it means that, if you buy a building for $1 million and you have to put $300,000 down, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Even for a good business, because you don't necessarily want to leave the money in the walls. You want to use the money to make more profit and, use it to continue the operations. Mm-hmm. So that's, of course, I do 95%, but the first thing that I look at is the capacity to reimburse the loan. So if I see that it's not there, that's going to be hard to do, to do the loan. But if the business has the capacity, why not? That's one of the things that I couldn't do before that I'm happy to do now. And even other bankers, when they look at that, they say, Catherine, really? Like, does it even make sense? I was like, well, they pay, so I guess it makes sense, if people don't go bankrupt because of that, and they continue paying, and we have been doing that for 20 years. seems like it works. So that's one thing that we do. The other thing that we do is that the amortization of the loan is usually for real estate 25 years. Usually in chartered banks, it's between 15 and 20 years. And I'm not saying that, what they do is not good. They have different challenges, they have different reality than our bank, and that's why we exist. If they were doing what I do, I wouldn't have a job, I guess, or I would be working there. So, that's why we exist. It's really to fill the gap. So when it makes sense, of course. So we do also, when you have a seasonal business, for example, a golf club. Well, most of their revenues are during the summer months. So, if they have to pay during winter, it can be difficult to manage the cash flow. So that's also sometimes we leave the payments during the summer, and then they stop paying, or they pay just the interest during winter months.
Another question.
Yes?
Is there a revenue threshold that you get involved in?
A revenue threshold, what do you mean?
Is there, when you do your business, if you have a business, is there a certain, do you get involved in any small business? Is there a revenue?
Oh, okay. Well, I do, and that's one thing that I love about my job. This year, the lowest loan that I did was 10,000, and the highest that I did was 10 million. So there's a big range in what we can do. There's each business is different, so we look at it really on each business, because there's no, I can't tell you it's 20 or 10 or, it depends on the need also, what the money is for and the size of the business and how much they can afford.
And no specific sector, irrespective of the...
Well, as long as it's legal, usually there's some restrictions like retirement homes. We don't do it. What else do we?
Gambling?
Gambling? Yes, no, we don't do it. Sex shops, we don't do.
Are there restrictions on Canadian operations?
Sorry?
Are there restrictions on Canadian operations?
What do you mean?
Like as a company, do all of your operations have to be in Canada?
Oh, no. Thank God it's 2013, so we finally understood that, a lot of businesses are dealing with other countries. Either they're buying from other countries. A lot of my clients are buying from China, or they have divisions also in other countries. So, no, what's important is that there's a location here in Canada, and that the decision makers are here in Canada, so that the decisions are not taking, in another country for the benefit of that country, because that's really, we're government, so the benefit has to be for Canada.
Is it only capital financing or working capital finance also?
Oh, we do also working capital financing. Yes, it's a big part actually of what we do. It could be for startup business. You're starting your business, you need marketing, you need a website. We do that. We do equipment financing. If you need equipment, I don't know, if you have, for example, right now I'm financing an optometrist. So she has a tiny place, and she's building, and she needs more equipment because she's going to have, instead of 2 rooms, she's going to have 6. So she needs more equipment. So I'm financing that as well. Yes. So yeah. Okay. I think I've said a lot of what comes after my presentation. I know it by heart. So yeah. So you can see here we do working capital financing, equipment financing. One thing that we really want to do more is information and communications technology financing. Everything relating to technology, so it could be websites, it could be softwares, it could be hardware. I have one client who is in printing, and he needed a digital printing machine. Well, that was part of this program. Real estate financing, And business transition financing, I do that a lot because a lot of businesses, a lot of people are aging now and want to retire, and their retirement is in, their money is in the business. So by selling the business, it's kind of their retirement plan. So we do a lot of, so if you ever want to buy a company that interests you, or sometimes it could be someone within the company who wants to buy, from the owner, that's something that we do. We don't take personal assets as security. So for example, if you we wouldn't take your house as security. We take what we call a personal guarantee, where you sign if your business can't pay, well, you're going to have to pay, and it varies, depending on what we finance. But it's so for the business transition financing, what's interesting is that it's the goodwill that we're financing. So if you buy a business, a service business where there's nothing, there's no equipment, there's no building, well, that's something still that we can finance without having you putting your house as security for the loan, which is usually what the banks ask, because they need security to back it up. Okay. So here you can see what we don't finance, and gambling is there. A few examples, and maybe I'll go through. Here is one example of purchase of inventory. So sometimes you have a business and it's going well, and then boom, suddenly you get a big contract and you need more inventory. It's nice to have the contract, but then if you don't have enough inventory to fulfill it, and before you can get paid, it can take maybe 2 months. So that's something that we can finance as well. So there's not many things that we don't finance, actually.
Another question.
Sorry?
Another question. What's the turnaround time from initiating an application to completion?
Okay. Usually what I say, it depends on you first. So the way it works usually is that I would sit with you and we discuss what you need and so forth, and I would ask a few documents from you. Then I go back to the office, I have to do some research. Then I come back, if there's a possibility, I come back with what we call a term sheet. So that would highlight, what you are going to get, the terms and conditions, the security, etc. Then once you sign that, usually you have a bunch of documents to give me. And that's usually sometimes where it takes a little bit of time, depending on the person. So all that time doesn't count yet. And then once you get me the documents, that's where time starts clicking. So usually from that time until you get the loan authorization, depending on the complexity, it can take it can take from 3 days to 2 weeks, depending on the amount of the loan and the complexity of the loan. Yeah. And then after that, usually we have to take security and so forth. So usually it's another 10 days before you can get the money.
Excuse me. Will you finance online e-commerce shop?
Yes, we do that. Have one big client actually with an internet. It was a bit tricky because I had to learn. I was very suspicious at first because it was very new to us. But yes, we do. I went to this client actually the first time, and usually when I go to a business, there's a receptionist, there's people working, you see activity. And I went there, and it was internet business. I was looking for computers and all that, and it was one guy with a laptop. And the guy I was meeting, so I was like, how do I know that it's real, And actually, it's one of my biggest clients now. So I had to learn how it works, and I still don't trust him 100%, but that's okay. He doesn't know it, so that's fine.
What do you need?
What do I need? Well, it depends. It depends really on the size. Is it to start one? Okay, to start one is harder for that, because the one thing, when you start a business, the one thing that we want to know is that you're going to be able to repay the loan, right? That's my only purpose in life, is making sure that my clients can repay. That's my goal. So, you know, when you start a business, I need to make sure that either you had another business like that before, that you understand how it works, and you know, have experience in that business. So usually, you know, and sometimes what I do, I said, okay, if you have a little bit of experience, but not, we'll start with a small loan, and then if you need more after, we'll do a bigger one after, because I don't authorize loans. In the banks, it used to be, you know, you shake the hand and everything is good. The next day you have the money. It doesn't work this way anymore, because many things happened in the banking business. So now I have to recommend the loan, and so I have to convince someone else, you know, that it's legitimate and that you know what you're doing, and that we can, you know, cross our fingers and close our eyes and everything is going to be fine. So, yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. So there's a few, I mean, what I can do, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's very detailed, but maybe if you want, Tunji could send my presentation, I don't mind at all. He could send it to every one of you, and you'll have a lot of details in that. So I think I've gone through everything, and I hope that I'll hear back from you if you need money.
You're here in Canada. Oh, sorry.
In Ottawa? Yes.
In Ottawa.
Yes, I'm actually 1 block from here. So.
We are from Toronto. There's also a flat.
That's even better. You have even more offices, the BDC offices in Toronto. There's many, many. I wish I was in Toronto. Yeah, my family doesn't want to move. But no, that's, if you want, if you need to have a contact there, you can call me or email me, and I can find someone to help you there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I can